Hello everyone, welcome back to Zero Gravity Gaming. My name is Shinkari. I'm joined by Thousand Eyes. I'm pointing, but I don't know which actual direction they're at. But you know what? I'm gonna keep pointing because eventually I'm gonna get to the side, whichever
Just
side they're on.
big circle and you
Welcome
got it.
to tonight's game. SON Leviathan is taking on Clinical this evening here for Plat League, and we are ready to get these games underway. We are already in pretty deep into picks and bans here. But Clinical is going to get a chance to go up against our representative from the Plat Worlds. Let's see if they're ready to take on our tied for first place team as well. Thousand, are you ready?
I am ready and I am excited because we're not seeing Sivir in this game, or Ashe, or Seraphine, or Morgana. We're taking out all the champions that suck. So I am excited for tonight. Good. We just needed to ban Lily and we would have been there.
I mean, there's still a lot of good champions still on the board. Zeri is still here.
Yeah, the good ones are on the board.
Look, Yuumi still isn't banned, so I don't know what
I
to
like
say,
Yuumi, so
okay,
sucks.
well, whatever. Regardless, Swain is going to be the first lock-in for SON Leviathan here, and Azir is going to be the hover to contest. Although we're not going to... Okay, well, there's the lock-in here. What do you think about these first... Since we have the mid lane matchup kind of locked in here, what do you think about this first mid lane matchup?
So, this is basically just going to be a farm lane. Swain, Azir are both kind of champs that don't really pick up until later on in the game. Azir does scale extremely well, obviously, but Swain is going to hit that mid-game point where his team fights are going to be so hard to deal with, and Azir is still going to be picking things up. He's still going to be trying to get to that point, so it's going to be difficult for Azir to do a lot in the midpoint of this game. And the Ornn is also just stating, hey, Clinical, they're going for that late game. They are waiting and biding their time. Leviathan are really locking in an opportunity for one of these lanes to get ahead and just snowball that out of control and take over a game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if anything, I'm just more of confused of why the Azir is locked in here. If anything, it's pretty hard locked in too first. And Pharma doesn't exactly have a whole lot of experience on the champion when it comes to ranked. They played the most they played of the champion was 3 years ago in season 9. Now, granted, 215 games. 215 games. It's a pocket pick. 215 games back in season 9, but this is like 3 years later, right? We have the mythic items in as well. Like, there's a lot that changed. And maybe Clinical still has the chops. Who knows? Maybe Pharma still has the Azir chops, and maybe this is like the pocket pick. But you know, it's just you know.
To be fair, yeah. Azir has been kind of climbing back up in terms of meta, and especially in terms of like professional play and things like that, and just competitive in general. But it's not super hard to believe that, hey, I've played this champ before. Azir hasn't changed much in terms of what he does. He still builds. He still creates those soldiers. He does the same mechanics. His overall mechanical skill, as long as you were practiced enough, then get a little de-rust and then you're good to go. We do have the Viego lock-in versus the Kayn, and this is actually interesting because this is one of those matchups that Viego's actually pretty happy about.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, once again, Viego gets more time to snowball because Kayn basically needs to not do full clears, needs to go into some of these lanes and get those souls for themselves here. So, you know, there's going to be a lot of times where Viego just gets to full clear all the way through the jungle. Doesn't really need to gank the lanes, obviously, as a snowballing champion likes it, but if they're just doing full clears, then I think the Viego's mostly fine just to chilling until 6, right?
No, I think what it is it's just another layer of let's get to later on in the game, right? Viego does have that pop-off potential, but generally he's known more for being a later game champ as compared to something like the Lee Sin. He doesn't go toe-to-toe with people really well early on. Kayn doesn't do that either. So it's just going to be a farming kind of thing. And the other thing to keep in mind here is we still don't know what kind of Kayn we're going to get here. When that Kayn was picked, it was just the Azir Ornn that was down there. So I'm assuming that there's some level of understanding of where they want this Kayn to gank, where they want him to get his orbs to transform, and get some kind of thing going at least so that Kayn isn't just waiting forever for a transformation.
Right. I mean, this is going to be a bit awkward because it's going to be relatively hard, I think, to gank this Azir lane, and they're gonna have to go all in order to kill this Ornn, even if they get like a
Mhm.
relatively small lead, right? So okay, Clinical here going full ham on the late game here, hovering
Yep,
over the
nope.
Jinx.
It's
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
I mean,
it's very
the
clear
only
what their
thing
plan
left is that
is.
we need like a Lulu here.
I
That's
was
the
gonna
only
say
thing left.
like Lulu last pick.
Yeah.
It's also really strange too that you look at this and they're picking their support last, right?
Mhm.
Because usually you see that in both teams not opting to go for their bot lane in the first area of this draft, which is usually where we see it. And I think some of that does have to do with the fact that Sivir was banned. That's kind of the go-to currently. In
Right.
order to get an AD carry, you want to just get the Sivir. But yeah, the MF, the Senna, they didn't get picked in that early area, and you see them banned away here. So Clinical kind of having to go for something else, but Leviathan, they recognize it. They know what Clinical is trying to do, and they're going to go full tilt in the other direction with the Lucian
Yeah.
Nami getting that
Yeah.
early lane aggression with the most likely electrocute on that Nami and just getting full all in. I like this pickup if Clinical lock this in because it does give them a level of disengage. If you go for something like a Lulu, your lane presence is so minimal that you don't provide anything for Jinx and you're going to get steamrolled. With something like an Alistar, you at least have an opportunity to push people away and frontline a little bit and play defensive off of that instead of just getting steamrolled by the powerhouse of Lucian Nami.
Yeah, for real. I mean, I personally would have liked a Braum a little bit more, but you know, that's more of
I
just
think
like
that's
personal
great
preference.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's more of a personal preference call. The Alistar here is very, very good. And the only thing is how patient is Legendary Banana going to play? Because in situations like this, and you're playing the Alistar to be a counter pick, you have to play boring. You have to be boring. You can't like just offshoot like WQ combo
Yeah.
in, right? Headbutt pulverize. You literally have to sit there, wait for Lucian to try to do something, and then reactively do your combo or reactively pulverize.
Yep.
Right? It's just you just have to play the most boring game of League of Legends. And it's really just how patient is Banana going to play?
Yeah,
Right?
pull up
And
the phone, scroll through
yeah,
Twitter, see
yeah,
what's going
yeah,
on
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's
Ooh, I
you're
have a
not
relic
playing the
shield
game.
stack.
You
Oof.
yeah,
Back
yeah,
to-
you play 15 minutes into the game. You don't play early on in lane. You're just gonna be sitting there and basically saying like, "Hey, like guys, please don't. I have other things I want to do. I have other,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
other things I want to try and get done tonight, and I'll just be waiting for those nice late game engages for Clinical, who have just fully gone in on we are going to hit that late game stride and we are going to reset hard off of it because it's not just the Viego anymore, it's the Jinx as well. You get one kill, Viego Jinx can turn things around, and I like this as far as like a late game composition. If you're like, all right, we're going to get smashed in the mid game, these two champs give you an opportunity to turn things around really nicely because one kill will give you so many combat stats that you can turn around a fight even if you're at a gold disadvantage.
Yeah, for sure. And we take a look at the Pro Comps guide on the stream here. The sponsor for this for Zero Gravity Gaming this season here. Take a look at that graph over on the side there. Game styles, and scaling.
Stale game.
It's game styles and scaling. You know, you take a look at that, and you know what we've been talking about. Pretty clear here, right? Like that's a skyrocket of a scaling for Clinical here into that late game, right? They have so much gold value that they're going to be getting from the ornaments. Jinx is going to be able to scale so well off of all of that, right? And even Alistar as a tank support is going to get better the later this game goes on, right? So but the problem for me is something we really haven't touched on yet. And its SON is very good and has been doing very well this season and is up against Clinical, who really has had basically moments of brilliance, and that's about it, right? Like to talk about these two teams in terms of how they've been doing so far, it really throws a big question mark on whether or not Clinical is actually going to get to that state of the game.
Yes, and I think the flash in the pan style is very just reminiscent of what this composition is, right? Like you have that one opportunity where it's like, boom, we can turn things around, we can go, we can make things happen. But really are going to be playing from behind the entire game. And I think when you are playing up against a team that is generally higher ranked and has been doing better throughout the season, it's a hard gamble to take, because how much is going to be too much? And if you end up giving too much gold over, this is a team that knows a bit more how to use it than someone like yourself. So you're gonna be just holding on for dear life. You are riding the bull and seeing how long you can stay on. Clinical are gonna have to hold on for about like 30 minutes or so, and that's a long time to hold on to a bull.
Yeah, most people fall off after like 10 seconds, depending on like how hard that machine is going. But you know, it really that really is the thing for me. Clinical, besides their record, is a team full of gold players, right?
Yeah.
And so there's already like kind of a bit of a skill difference between these two teams. There is a record difference between these two teams, and so it's hard for me to look at a team that has the win conditions of Viego and Jinx and sees a Nami Lucian on the other side, and and like a pocket pick from like 3 seasons ago. I will probably flame Pharma. I should probably stop flaming Pharma so much for the Azir pick.
Yeah,
it's just odd. I haven't seen it in a while. Maybe I'll put my foot in my mouth. Okay, I'll do it. If Pharma wins lane, I'll put my foot in my mouth.
Pharma, if you want to see a foot in the mouth, you've got your goal now. Like, just play your game and absolutely stomp Kopek hard in that late game there. But I think, honestly, what I am hoping for and what I am kind of like leaning on is like they're just kind of digging until they strike gold. And when they strike gold, you can go through that fast, right? You know, the resets we've said, Jinx, Viego, immediately are going to be really powerful. And then as the game goes longer and longer, the ornaments come in. The Alistar with the ult, like Alistar ult is one of the best ultimates just purely because it gives you so many defensive stats there to keep yourself alive. I think overall, I do like SO and Leviathan in terms of just they are the better team. They have a composition that has every right to be able to win this. But I think Clinical at least have picked something that loses gracefully enough that they can play around it.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say, right? We're just gonna have to be watching this early game, right? This is where SON Leviathan is at their most powerful. This is when Clinical needs to stem the bleeding the most in order to make sure that they're able to ease their way into that mid game where both teams are even, and then skyrocket their way into that late game. But we are going to take just a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be on the rift of game number 1 of SON Leviathan versus Clinical. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Hello everyone, welcome back to Zero Gravity Gaming. My name is Shinkari, I'm joined by Thousand Eyes, and here we are on the Rift of game number 1 of SON versus Clinical. SON is on the blue side, Clinical is on the red. We've got ourselves a 5-point start, and here we are, game number 1, week number 4. We're ready to get this game underway. Thousand, are you ready?
I am ready. And I am ready to watch a bot lane get completely dumpstered.
Oh, really?
Look, I want you to look at Lucian Nami.
Okay.
PTA, Electrocute.
Okay.
I want you to name a bot lane that has any kind of early game comparison. Just name any bot lane that has some level of capability to fight them.
Twitch, you mean?
In the early game?
Yeah. With Invis.
Okay, Sinkari is officially trolling. I'm no longer going to be asking him for his opinion on
okay,
anything.
wow. All right. Okay, cool. I mean,
I just came from Philly. I'm spicy, dude. Come on.
Okay. You're from Philly. Spicy. What?
Have you never interacted with somebody from Philadelphia before?
Yeah, well, I have interacted from people with New York. I'm just, spicy is not the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay, but you don't regularly interact with them anymore.
When was the last time you had a Philly cheesesteak and was like, "Hey, this thing is spicy. That's delicious."
I put hot sauce in my fucking cheesesteaks. Oh, I know I'm fine. I hate it. Anyway, there's a video game happening.
Yeah, there is a video game happening.
God, this is
Look,
scuff.
level one, you either against Lucian Nami, you either play hard defense or you just sit back and let them do their thing. It's just kind of there. You're right. There's not a lot of bot lanes that can match the duo in terms of offense, but in terms of defense, like Alistar or Braum are going to be your best bets anyway.
Yeah, I agree. So we're going to be just like kind of waiting. Hopefully the Alistar will prevent a dive from happening and or get some really good roams in that can then maybe turn into something later on. So far we're getting basically I think what we expected of just the zoning of Nemu, who's not going to be able to do much, and Jinx just has to stay back under the tower. Meanwhile, on the top side though, Camille doing the same thing for this Ornn. This means that the Kayn has all kinds of control wherever he wants to go on this map. He has that backup.
Yeah, having Prio this early on, especially against a Viego who can match you 1-for-1, this definitely gives you a lot of leeway in these kind of early levels here, where Kayn, isn't exactly a champion yet and is really looking for those souls in order to transform.
He's a champion, but his shoes are untied. So, like, later on, he's going to be good. Somebody's got to point it out to him, and he'll be fine. But right now, he's just kind of running around, laces flopping, and he's gonna tighten that up later on.
Yeah, knowing our one friend who is a huge Kayn player,
that
accurate. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, no, it's exactly what I would expect of him.
Yeah, he's the anime protagonist who's running to school late and has the
it's Gavin.
Yeah.
We can just talk crap about him with name.
Yeah, okay, look, Gavin, hey, thanks for doing great work for stats for the LCS. Also, weird champ.
You don't know how to tie your shoes.
Yeah, start tying your shoes, weirdo. What is the bit?
Oh my god.
The bit could be anything. Okay, Macro Beast here, in some trouble here. Gonna find a great stun, flashing forward from Viego, looking for the second to follow up. Really, really good CC layering in the bot lane there to prove that Clinical, even though behind in terms of rank here, is not going to waste any time doing some good plays down in the bottom lane. Really, really good communication.
Well, I mean, so there's that, and it's always good to trade your flash for a laner flash as a jungler. You're absolutely most of the time fine trading a flash for a flash on a bot lane or something like that. And you also have the heal burn from Macrobeast, but Nemu also burned heal in the process. So you're going to get the back here. We're going to see Jinx going back, getting Boots dagger, and I would assume that Lucian is going to have something just a little bit better here coming out of it. The double longsword and the dagger means there's a lot of combat stats here, and Jinx just looking to try and stay as far back as possible.
Yeah, but that's really a tall order. Jinx at this stage of the game is still a relatively short range champion. Remember those mana changes to her rocket launcher have been reverted. So she can't just kind of spam her rockets as much as she wants anymore. Like those are some pretty high mana costs on those auto attacks. So if she wants to be pretty far away, you know, it's going to cost her a lot of resources.
And meanwhile, you see Malachor doing a great job here on this top side. Generally, I feel like Camille goes one of two ways. You either do really, really well with her early on and you split push really hard, or you really fall behind and you just wait and bide your time. This time around, Malachor doing a great job playing around the cooldowns of this Ornn and making sure that there will always be an opportunity. Kayn looking to maybe just get some stacks here with some damage onto this Ornn.
Yeah. And it's really going to be interesting. We'll see in a second. There's a good unstoppable there. Going to use that.
Oh, wait.
That's going to be the Hextech ultimatum here. They're looking for the kill. That's going to be the Ornn Horn coming across.
Wait
here,
a minute.
Might be able to find some damage on the Spies here. Gets the clap, flashes away, but that's a really low HP Kayn. And I think Ruthenium is going to be able to get away from that A-OK. Really, really well played.
Really well played to get the dash back as the Hextech ultimatum was coming down. Spies not, unfortunately, able to really do a whole lot there. And just stayed a little bit. I feel like Ruthenium almost griefed himself there, going for that kill, because said, like, all right, Kayn is low. Thought that the tower was still following around onto that Kayn. Was not the case. It's fine. And then does end up trading pretty favorably, but it's still looking like Ruthenium not going to have a lot of options in this lane, right? The TP back comes in, has that Bomby Cinder, but the wave is at a really bad spot, and already Ruthenium down about 20 farms so far.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we've been seeing, and I did want to comment on that, like, Ruthenium has been missing a lot of CS. There's a lot of times he's just kind of like spamming out abilities and then not getting the farm. And like even under tower as well, he's been missing a lot of CS, and that's gonna really come out to hurt him here, because I feel like Malachor is just gonna be able to like even if this lane continues as it is, Malachor is up nearly 2.5 waves of CS here. Like that is nothing to sneeze at. Like that's a whole lot of gold that now you have to kind of like deal with not having that gold in your pockets. A decent chunk of gold in the lead.
I think the biggest thing is that it's just hard for Ornn to do a whole lot against somebody that can trade favorably into him early on, right? His whole kind of shtick in lane is that he can breathe fire and trade really well, but Camille with this Sheen will trade even better. And you can see that Malachor, even without having backed here when Ruthenium did, is still trading decently here and is sitting on about 1,000 gold here. We'll be able to back and get a Caulfield's Warhammer pretty easily, and that extra damage is going to be huge.
Yeah, for sure. Is now see a whole lot of damage being traded out in the mid lane here. Looking for the clap into the top lane. This is a bit longer than a scuffle here. Might look for the charge. Diego's coming in as well, but we're taking a look at the bottom lane for a second as they get double chompered up, but not a whole lot of action just quite yet. We're 9 minutes into this game and still no first blood yet.
And that's great for Clinical, because Clinical are just trying to bide their time. The longer that this game can stall out, the better. They're going to end up losing the dragon here. Should have an opportunity to go for that Rift Herald if they want to. Nami not around here to help this Lucian. And that early game presence is a little bit less important. Here's the
Sarima Shuffle is going to be going as in the bottom lane. We're going to see a tidal wave not land either. Really good Shurima Shuffle. So Pharma's still got it. So, you know.
All right, I take it back. Pharma, you can engage.
Yeah.
I think we said, I think that was just during the break, but we said, I was like, I don't know if I trust Azir as consistent engage for a team, especially like at this level. But Pharma looking good. That was a good shuffle, and it forced a lot out of Kopek in a way that now Azir has extra time to farm. Kopek does not have the TP. It's going to be a little bit more time, and every little bit you get is a little bit more to even yourself out for that mid game.
Yeah, for sure. And I think this is mostly both of us kind of eating our words right now when we were
Oh
just
yeah.
like, I don't know if Pharma, this seems a blah, blah, blah. So now Pharma just feels doubly like they have to be like, okay, well, the casters
Marvin's
are
just
being.
like, shut up.
Yeah,
You're
shut your mouth.
dumb.
God. Just like, who are these casters? Are they being paid for this? They're being paid for this. Wow, wonderful. Wow.
It is a wonderful job that I can get paid to just smack talk people
Yeah.
for a living.
Yeah. That's the dream.
That's really the dream, yeah. I mean, all things put aside, it is still a very large CS differential in every single lane. So what I really want to see here is we're going to get a gank from Spies. They're going to go forward.
Ooh, yeah, the bubble doesn't land. The slow from Swain might be able to give them some
TP?
opportunity, but really great Pulverize is going to keep this down. We got a TP from Azir here. Viego is in the vicinity, but it looks like they finally peeled off here.
Okay.
Veritanium, hey, he's just trying to make some toys. Why'd you interrupt him here? It's Veritanium. Malachor still looking for some fighting up there, top lane. Good
So,
there.
okay. Here, I have major issues, and maybe this is kind of where Clinical starts to falter a little bit here.
Okay.
I have major issues with that TP because I don't get why you're TPing. Right? You're looking up. Oh, never mind.
Oh, wait. Yeah, Nemo might be in some trouble here, but it looks like Legendary Banana is going to be the first one to go down. First blood at 11.5 minutes into the game. And on to the Alistar. Not the end of the world here, but definitely first blood going over to Kayn. Definitely not exactly ideal.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kayn going for that Eclipse build. So maybe getting an Assassin Kayn, which would be exciting. But I really am critical of this TP from the Azir down there because you specifically are TPing now before TPs get unlocked. Your TP will not be available as soon as they get unlocked, and there is always an opportunity for a play at that point. You really would love to have that down there for that play, because if that play happens again in a couple of minutes, you don't have the TP. You could TP behind them if that is up, but you don't have that now. And also, what do you do when you get in there? Because here comes another engage.
Yeah, another Shurima shuffle here, but Badly Run used to use Heartbreaker in order to get over the wall, but it does not matter because Pharma is going to be the one picking up the kill there. And now Malachor waiting in the bush, having Bad Leroy flash over the wall, but that's going to be the Hextech ultimatum as well. Pharma coming around to be a little bit of help, but that's going to be Kayn picking up the kill there. Is now Spies trying to dash forward. Can't quite get onto Pharma because he's underneath the turret. So just going to throw out some with vision. Make sure they have eyes on the Spies. They're just going to back away 1-for-1.
Do you think every S counts as another individual spy? Is that why there are multiple S's?
Maybe. Does that mean there's 3 spies or are there 2 spies?
I think there's 4.
There's 4.
Yeah,
but there's 3 S's.
No, there's 4 S's.
There's 4 S's, but like
see, that's how they get you. That's the trick, right?
But okay, so then there's really only 1 spy, and the 1 spy is the first S.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah,
we figured it out.
Yeah.
It was a secret code. We got it. It's all under control.
Banana bread. If you know, you know.
Yeah, nobody. I don't think many people got that one. Malcolm, on the other hand, has the box under, doing a great job. Nemu, on the other hand, left alone.
Yeah.
Put him down. They're going for this dive here. Remember what happened last time?
I think this is fine. They've got so much damage.
I don't think this is fine.
Okay, Bad Leroy is coming in. Now it's not fine. They're going to be able to find 1 kill, and now they're going to be able to slow down. Malachor here does not have that turret aggro, so they just need to put full force onto this. A double kill for the Viego here. Holy moly, what a kill. Is Macro Beast making their way up here. The slow from the Tie Caller's blessing. Go. Super Mega Death Rocket going to come across.
What are you ulting? What is Nemu ulting there?
They're the darkness. They're ulting the darkness.
I'm so confused. Okay, first off, don't dive an Ord. That's basic. Don't dive an Ord. I don't care what level it is, unless it's like level 2, and you could somehow dive at level 2. Like, don't dive Ord. He's going to just crowd control you and keep you. That would have been a trade even if the Viego was not there. And then you have Viego there. Ornn survives. You get a double kill the other direction. Now it is a gold lead still for SON, but it is just constantly within striking distance, right? SON, they've been having a really strong gold lead. They've been doing really not anything with it. And one of the things I really wanted to see SON Leviathan do that we have not really seen at all is dragon focus. We saw them get the first dragon, and they've done nothing with it. This composition is built for mid-game. It's built for early to mid-game presence, and that is about dragon control, and they're doing nothing about that right now.
Yeah. If anything, they are the holders of the first Rift Herald here, and they are making their way over to the Earth Drake right now. So they are gonna. The only problem is it's just now very contested. Take a look at. They note.
Okay, so I don't think Clinical fights this.
Ooh, yeah, okay, they definitely don't now.
Yeah. Case in point. I don't think Clinical fights this. I don't think they have any real opportunity to take it, and I don't think it's worth your time, right? Because why would you put so much time and energy and focus into something that is going to end up being a not net negative generally most of the time? So now Pharma just gonna fly away. Wow, that was actually a lot better than I thought it would be.
Yeah, okay. Okay, this is the sound of me putting my foot in my mouth.
We were told we're not allowed to do it on. Yeah, we're not allowed to do it on camera. Apparently, that's TOS.
Yeah, that's TOS. Apparently, whatever.
I think Brennan's a coward. Is what it is.
I think Brennan is also a coward. All right, Shrima Shuffle not going to be able to find spies, but this is now going to be the biggest problem here as it pulled back in. Great Tidal Wave is going to be able to slow them down a little bit longer in order to keep them inside this Swain ultimate. It's now Spies just a little too far forward. Might be able to find the kill 1-for-1. Bad Leroy picks up the kill, though. Can't find the reset, but now the bot lane is in a bad spot. Manaka here might be able to do something, take some real low,
he doesn't want to
commit anymore. Macro Beast does have that real high burst damage, so they are going to get out of this 2-for-3, defend the turret, and man, but they're still so far behind.
And that whole fight there was salvaged, I think, by the positioning of Nemu there, getting back and getting over to get some damage down as they were diving under the tower. I think Pharma went a little too deep, obviously did not get that Shrima Shuffle, and was a little bit late to that. I don't even think that the Shrima Shuffle would have been worth it, because I think you get one person, and it's not even a critical person at that. And you really would love to actually just, bide your time and think a little bit longer on that. But they pull the trigger, it goes a little bit wrong, and they get Jinx in the right spot at least to turn it around and get those resets we talked about. Viego stayed alive for a good bit. Jinx had that extra move speed and range to then be a threat throughout the rest of that fight. Yeah. Kaori now trying to come around for this. Malikor's around.
Yeah, they might have bitten off just a little bit more than they could chew here, so that's Bad Leroy picking up another kill here. 4-2-1 on this Viego here. That is a very, very strong Viego that you really don't want to mess with, as we do have a red cane with Eclipse.
And that's not unheard of, right?
Okay.
It is not out of the norm. Gale Force was used.
Okay. Yeah.
Look,
Macro Beast is on a higher level. He's just like
he's definitely macroing, not microing.
We're just like, just in Twitch chat, he's just like, my name is Macro Beast, not Micro Beast. Come on.
Oh my god. Okay. But Eclipse on Red Cane is not unheard of. Eclipse just as a whole is a strong item. Just on any champ that focuses on healing. And you also have to remember that it has that passive of giving that percent armor pen. And Kane's passive is he heals to a degree based on how much damage he does. So armor pen is really great for him. So it's fine, it's great, it's whatever. I am still happy to see the red cane rather than the blue cane here, because I think you do need that front line, because otherwise you are just relying on Swain with ult and Camille, and that's not enough come late game.
Yeah. If this game does go late, you are going to need at least some way to pierce through a lot of this front line that is already amassing here. Ornn with a first item Thornmail has to be insane here. Is really good Really good headbutt, really good pulverize, but now Legendary Banana's in a tough spot here. Zap is going to come out trying to slow down Spies, but they have completely disengaged after Alistar has committed the ultimate. Rutenium here. Gonna get the knock-up on a Malachor. Is this a fight, or is we just trying to get away? Forcing the flash. That's going to be the Ornn ultimate. Hextech ultimatum is going to get them away from the second half of that. Super Mega Death Rocket coming across as well. Giving the kill over to, Legendary Banana gets
the cow, let's go!
Let's go!
Deserved.
Deserved. KS stands for kill secured.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, still, it's getting another kill and it's getting another pick. Where really, that's where SON should be thriving. So
yeah,
Clinical doing decent here, and I think part of that is just SON have just really not pressed their advantage. I feel like they have not recognized how strong this composition can be at that level. Like, I mean, even like level 4 to like 10, this is such a good composition. We're now hitting the point where Clinical's starting to get their strides a little bit. We're getting all of those mythics done. We're getting tankiness on Ornn. We're getting the Blade of the Ruin King finished onto Viego, and looking like we're gonna get a Triforce next. This is kind of getting to a scary point. I mean, yes, okay, now finally we're getting the dragons done. This should have been Soul. I feel like this should have been Soul Dragon here, or at the very least it should have been somewhere. Like, they should have had Soul Point a couple of minutes ago, I feel.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if this game goes longer, like, we are going to see ornaments are online, and I believe, I don't think, does Ornn have to upgrade his own item first?
No, he gets it for free at level 12, 13. They've changed it so many times I don't remember anymore.
Yeah, God.
But yeah, I know that his does just automatically happen, and then he's allowed to upgrade other people's items.
Okay, they're going to be able to find the first objective bounty here, and Malachor is in a whole lot of trouble. That's a whole lot of CC has to go over the wall here, but now this is the big problem. That Leroy's taken incredibly low, and the Ornhorn does not land onto a good target. That's going to be the Emperor's Divide coming across. Might be able to give Pharma just a little bit of space, but Macro Beast has already dashed past it. Knocked into the air. No. Double kill for the Lucian. What started out as a pick onto Malachor turned out into a 3-for-0, and now SON, they're picking up Baron.
And there's not going to be any other way of going about it. It is just going to go over to SON, over-engage on to Malachor, and good stuff on Malachor to be able to hop over the wall, get away, and allow his team to do the rest of the work from then on. This is kind of one of those things that you see from this level of play, where there is we see person, we want to kill person, and we don't consider the greater field of view, right? We don't see other champions on the map, and we think this person must be alone, when in reality, you've got to be able to keep a mental map of where people are. Clinical did not do that, and Clinical paid the price for it.
I mean, not only did it's also an issue of vision, right? Like, we take a look at where Clinical's vision is right now. I don't think they even had wards in that side of the map during that time. Like, they were just like, oh, hey, we found Malachor here, and we've got 2v1. Let's just go ahead and do it. Like, it was just kind of a spur of the moment kind of decision, but no, Nemu.
It's falling apart, Shinkari.
He's already dead. Nemu, I feel like they're just bullying at this point. They're just bullying Nemu.
I mean, like, Jinx was in this game. Jinx is starting to become a threat, and it's these kinds of late game mispositions that you can't do when you are the late game focused team, right? You've got to be able to play around that a little bit better. Now, Banana trying to get spies here. Will actually, no, the E did not go through, but will just queue over the wall. The Baron doing a lot of work on this bot lane.
Ooh, Shurima Shuffle is not going to land on anyone here, but does look like they're trying to get this in for a fight. The WQ does not happen. Now Nemu might have stepped just a little bit too far forward. The turret is down, and this is the go button for the blue team here, as Camille's going to pick up the first kill onto Pharma here. Ornhorn comes across, 2 good knockups. They're still looking for a little bit more here. Malachor is the front of this fight. The Nemu's trying to get onto these targets, but they can't quite get to them. They're too far away. The Azir turret is up, but Man, it's just way too tough to get anywhere close to this blue team right now. As Malachor diving just a little bit forward, finds Leroy's. That's a good knockup combo, but look at where Spies is on the back line. They're going to be able to find the kill onto Viego now, as now they're going to continue to push. Nemo is still incredibly low, but can't get onto this Kane. It's a 3-0, and now they're losing more of their base.
Yeah, once again, just the Baron minions too strong, really difficult to move forward through there. And it just gets harder and harder for Clinical as they just can't make things happen. The Azir ults aren't hitting anymore. The Jinx has not had an opportunity to really genuinely get into a fight like we saw earlier. It's starting to feel like that late game presence is just not there, that they don't have that capability of playing it. When one thing starts going wrong, it feels like it just keeps snowballing harder.
Yeah. And that's kind of an issue here, right? It's just really tough to get into these team fights. It's really tough to try to do it. Sometimes you really need to commit super hard with this team. Oh no, Legendary Banana caught out here. So much damage. Even at this stage of the game, it's, oh man, it's just real tough. Tie-hand-us, man.
Yeah, it's difficult because it's a situation where now the game has gotten so rough that you are just trying to scramble for something and you're paying the price.
Yeah, bad Leroy taken incredibly low here. Has to use that Heartbreaker in order to get over the wall. And now they can't even walk into their own jungle in order to find farm here. So with one member down, Alistar is going to be spawning in just a few seconds here. But, you know, the blue team could just take this opportunity to take this last fight and maybe just end the game.
Yeah, this is looking rougher and rougher. They have those 2 inhibitors down. They're going for the clean third here rather than trying to force anything. Now the Ornhorn's going to come. This might be the last fight.
Oh, yeah. They're able to get the second half of the Ornhorn, but Nemu immediately eliminated the second they moved even relatively close to Lucian here. But now Legendary Banana is going to be the focus of this fight. They just get eliminated as Azir finds the kill onto Lucian on the bottom half here. Malachor still looking for a fight down there, but now the red team is split up. Malachor taking incredibly low, but this might be the opportunity they need to turn around. They're clearing out the health bars here. Bad Leroy still looking, ooh, not going to be able to land that knock-up here, but a really good hold. It's a 3 for 2. Bad Leroy showing their muscles here, picking up that cane there. Now these ornaments starting to be passed around.
This is getting a little bit dicey here. A bit of an over-engage. As soon as I said they were going for the clean 3 inhibitors, they just got the trigger pulled onto them. And I think they said, well, okay, we're fighting. And we're winning the fight at the beginning of it. But Macro Beast goes really deep in on Farba, who then just Sharia shuffles the Lucian back under the tower. And then you see the rest of the fight play out. Bad Leroy able to chase down Lucian at the end of it and just turn things around, get those resets, and all of a sudden now, okay, cool. We've saved our base. We've kept the game going along enough. There is going to be the final dragon there picked up for the soul. As Kopic and Macro Beast do pick that one up, and it's unfortunate you have to give that away, but with the state of the game right now, it is definitely really just so important right now that Clinical hold their base and do not leave it under any real circumstance here. I don't think they could even really contest this Baron.
Yeah, if they do contest the Baron, it could be just a dire gamble, right? If you're outside your base for too long, that's just begging Malachor and Kopek to just teleport into your base and take your turrets, right? They've got super minions pushing into your base, like it just like, I don't know if you can give this up for free, but like if you go in and contest, it's like a lose-lose scenario right now for Clinical.
Yeah, it's so hard. I think in these situations, the best you do is maybe send your jungler to try and steal it, but really that's it. I don't think you want to leave your base in any way, shape, or form, and that's fine. You've at least got the time here to clean up the base and get some gold. Remember, these super minions do give a large amount of gold and will provide a lot for Neiman to get some of these items that are needed right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know how much longer this game is going to go on. We can keep saying like, oh, Nemu scales, but it's 30 minutes in. They're playing the late game scaling comp, but they're down 11,000 gold at this stage, right? Baron buff on the enemy team, 3 lanes of super minions coming into the base. Like, it's just, man, Nemu can step out of line for just 1 split second, and Macro Beast is just there to punish.
And now this Macro Beast getting a little too far forward.
Yeah, Macro Beast actually taken pretty low here. Super Mega Death Rocket comes across. They're able to find 1 kill here. Inhibitor goes down, but the only casualty of this fight is the red team. 1 for 1 now. They're looking for a little bit more. Might be able to find the kill on the Spice here. Malachor taken incredibly low. Emperor's Divide comes across. Going to be able to save Jinx now as they are excited. Going to be able to find 2 kills for 1. That's another hold. They're able to do it again.
Fine. Yeah, and this time with the help of Macro Beast. There really should not have been a situation where Lucian is that far forward there, and when you are that strong, you have teammates to back you up, you have other frontliners to help you out. You don't need to be that far forward. You've got Baron, you play it slowly, you play it safe, boom, double supers with Baron buff, you win the game easy.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is really mostly an awkward. I feel like it's not super awkward because I feel like you can just reload and get back into the red team's base like relatively easy, right? You can shove out. You don't even need to shove out these waves, right? You have 2 super minions per wave because all of the inhibitors are down, right? It's really just, hey, let's go for round 2, Lucian. Don't do that again.
Yeah. Hey, Macrobeat, just pull him to the side.
Buddy.
Like,
Yeah,
buddy,
buddy.
okay, like, so I get it. Like, it's you want to pop off. I get it, dude. I've been there. We've all been there. But like, just walk with us next time.
Yeah, chill out on the Twitter clips for about 2 seconds, okay? We need to win the game. We don't need a Twitter clip, and they're killing us when we try to get in their base. So let's just chill, all right?
Yeah.
As here we go.
Like,
Final
literally,
push.
you are the last person that should be in range of people.
Yeah. All right, yeah, here it goes. This is going to be the last-ditch effort for Clinical here. That's going to be the Shurima Shuffle and the Ornhorn as well. Going to knock Swain high into the air, taking them incredibly low. But that's going to be 2 members down. Lucian trying to duel Viego on the bottom side here. But Nemu's already gone, and a lot of these carries are gone as well. Ornn is the only member left to tell the tale. He's so tanky, it doesn't even matter that he can survive all this damage because his team is just eliminated. And now it's going to be the game taken down as well. Nearly a clean ace, 4 for 0 at the very end there, and I cannot, and it is such a good clean win onto Clinical here to bring us 1-0 in the series.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would call this really clean because that early game was not what it should have been. Ezo and Leviathan picked a composition that was as extremely early to mid game as you could really possibly get, and didn't really do much with it. I feel they got good CS leads, but they didn't really get those kills. They didn't get the dragons that were so, available to them. I feel like this game went a lot longer than it should have, and that's what you should be avoiding for those late game fights. You want to end this game sooner rather than later so you don't deal with the possibility of those late game turnarounds like we saw.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there were a lot of times where SON just bit off a little bit more than they can chew, but I think they were at points in the game where like they were so far ahead that it didn't matter that Lucian had died and given up the shutdown. It just didn't matter.
It didn't
right?
matter.
It just made
but
that the game lasted like an extra 2 minutes, maybe.
But like, you're always giving a chance, though.
Yeah.
Right? Like, ultimately, it didn't matter. But when you do that, you're giving more time. You're giving an opportunity. And I don't think that you should be avoiding that at all costs when you are just kind of like shuffling up to the late game there. Your goal as a early to mid game team should be let's close this out clean, not let's go for aggressive, flashy plays.
Yeah. But that is going to do it from us here. We are going to take just a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be in game number 2 of SON Leviathan versus Clinical. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
The era of metal has begun, and metal shall prevail. For we know what they have done. 5 legends of our realm who sought to follow the path of their dark musings. But they did not know what they had summoned. Pentakill. To these creatures, there is but one thing left to do.
everyone, welcome back to Zero Gravity Gaming. My name is Shinkari. I'm joined by Thousand Eyes, and here we are in picks and bans of game number 2 of SON Leviathan versus Clinical. If you're joining us for the first time, SON Leviathan was able to get a game 1 victory over Clinical, so now we're taking a look at game number 2. Now, we can't count Clinical out just yet. We have seen them have moments of brilliance against some of the best teams in the league, and now here they are ready to go in game number 2. They had a pretty decent performance in game number 1. It just was not good enough. As now, here we are, picks and bans. Thousand Eyes, are you ready?
I am ready, and apparently teams are also ready and just sitting on the same stuff as they were before. As you can see, bans currently exactly the same, and I can't really fault Clinical for that. I think really what was mistakes in Clinical's gameplay was gameplay mistakes. It was not draft mistakes. I think their draft was fine. So in Leviathan, though, banning the MF this time instead of the Silas, so the Silas will be left open, and a hard shift here over to the Graves immediate pickup as Clinical gonna go back to Old Faithful, the Azir Ornn.
Yeah, there it is. I mean, I agree with you that like this, that there weren't really any draft issues. It's just, you know, I don't know how I feel about locking in this Jinx. If they're looking to lock in their bottom lane so early on into the phase 2, then this is going to be a lot of problems for SON. This is going to make SON Leviathan locking in their bot lane so easy. Right, like, and we saw that in the last draft. If there was any drafting problem with Clinical in game 1, it was just kind of leaving their bot lane open for some.
Yeah, I think that was my biggest issue overall with both drafts. It was just like, oh god, right, bot lane, cool. We picked those up and we got those
That's
eventually.
That's the thing we have to pick. Yeah.
Those are champions. Wow, who could have figured that? The champions that are not Lucian Nami in the bot lane, wild. Aatrox Cassiopeia gonna get picked up here. Now Cassiopeia is an interesting one because I have not seen enough play between Azir and Cassiopeia in the last couple of years to really have a good understanding of this matchup. My thought process here is Cassiopeia can trade a little bit more efficiently because she can get in, get out, as opposed to Azir, who needs that attack speed to do the same. Yeah. And then you've also got the Grounded, which can really mess up Azir's ability to get in on fights and do that Shurima shuffle. So Cassiopeia, I would assume, has the edge here.
Yeah, I mean, Cassiopeia is also really good against Clinical in general. I'm fairly certain Viego can't use his stun. Ornn can't do his... Ornn can't, like,
Ornn
do
can't
his dash
R2.
Or his, or R2, right? There's, like, a lot of things that Cassiopeia just shuts down just by throwing out her miasma here. So, like, this is such a good pickup here. I think it's a really good adaptation from SON Leviathan. And I'm also liking these kind of bans in the second half here. Clinical taking away the Lucian here and now taking away the Blitzcrank as well means that they can draft another late game AD carry and not really worry too much about, you know, being hard focused in lane.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit difficult, but it is going, I think, to hopefully be at least a little bit more possible here for Clinical, as we are going to see the Lucian ban this time around. So Clinical not wanting to deal with more of the same, and I think that's a smart one. If you're going to take one of those champs out, you take the Lucian. Nami with any other champion turns back into a just straight up enchanter, right? She's not going to be as oppressive with any other character as she would be with that Lucian. Now we get the Xayah pickup here, so this puts Leviathan in a bit of a interesting spot, because now Leviathan have to figure out, are we just going to give away the Rakan, or are we going to take it away?
Yeah, it should be interesting. I think SON Leviathan, if their support player is comfortable on Rakan, I think it's just an easy takeout, right? Okay, they're going for the Jinx Alistar themselves.
Okay, you know what? Fine.
Yeah. I think, okay.
We can't play. You can't play either. It's my Nintendo. I'm the one who wins.
God, Mom said it was my turn with the Nintendo.
Yeah, basically, they just kind of yanked that away. And you know what? That's fine. Jinx, Alistar, obviously, like we saw, doesn't have a lot of early game presence. Clinical, on the other hand, now, they have a winning lane. They have Xayah Thresh. That at least gives you something to work with that has a little bit more of a presence in that bot side. Ornn, not going to do anything against Aatrox, really. Azir, not going to really do too much against Cassiopeia. That's more of a farm lane, but I would assume Cassiopeia a little bit better on that one. Just depending... The biggest thing, I think, for the mid lane is Cassiopeia gets that lost chapter, and then you've got perma push. Then you really can't go toe-to-toe within the same way as you would have been able to for wave presence. But you look at the bot side, Xayah will always outpush a Jinx until you get into that late game where Jinx's rockets are really starting to turn up the heat.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it is really hard to match that kind of AoE, especially late in the late game here. So Xayah really is going to have to be pushing out a lot of DPS and making sure to shove in these waves as much as she can, making sure that she's capitalizing on this early game wave clear that she has over Jinx in these first few levels here, right? Like, if they want, like, I just don't see how Xayah is going to scale as well into the late game. As we do take a look at our champs guide on the screen right now, both these teams do real well as they get into the late game. You know, we don't really have one team that like clearly spikes greater over the other here, but I really think the late game for Clinical here is really going to be in the Ornn, the Viego, and the Azir for sure. Not so much in the Xayah. But yeah, this is certainly going to be an interesting game here for sure, as there's not clearly one team that has a stark advantage over the other in terms of just like when power spikes happen.
Yeah, it's difficult here because yeah, you're gonna have to deal with the fact that your Jinx Alistar is kind of always going to be behind here. Cassiopeia, also a fairly late game champion. I think the biggest thing is Leviathan's kind of late game presence is very predicated on, is Aatrox actually frontlining here, and I'm frontlining well, because Alistar obviously is great while his ultimate's up. That's what, 6 seconds. So that's not really enough here for a full-on fight. And if Aatrox is not big enough, if he doesn't have enough of a lead that he could show up to a team fight and just kind of get in people's faces to give that space for the Jinx and Cassiopeia, Clinical, I think, just have a better front-to-back team comp.
Yeah, for sure. And they're also looking at a team comp that doesn't really have a whole lot of burst damage, right? They do have a whole lot of consistent damage here. Whereas Cassiopeia, where people will argue like, oh, Cassiopeia consistent damage, still I still think that like she is looking for smaller burst windows, right? Because she wants to get as much damage in as small amount of window as possible, because she has to play so short range, right? Against a Viego and Ornn, Azir, Thresh, there's a lot of CC on Clinical's team that if Cassiopeia doesn't play smart, or if she just stays in a fight for too long, she is going to be punished very, very hard, right? Graves, also a very burst-heavy champion as well. But, you know, there's a lot of similarities between these two teams, even though I'm trying to draw differences. I think there are still, like, a lot of similarities between these two teams. Lots of consistent damage, not clearly having, like, having like pretty consistent spikes across the game that are going to lead into two big late game comps. Like, these comps are very similar, very, very similar.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that if you look at the late game presence here, I don't know if the Xayah can put out as much damage, right? We've talked about how the front line for Leviathan isn't great, but I think the Jinx just does a lot more damage, and that gets pretty difficult too. It's like if Ornn's also, if both top laners are shredded and just like not providing anything, it gets really interesting, because Xayah has that burst damage, but Jinx rockets are scary.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's just a lot to like about both teams, right? And I think it's interesting that they decided to not go with the Jinx here and opted for the Xayah. Like you said, does have that burst damage available to her, but you know, it as we get later into this game, like you said, like Xayah is gonna have a lot of CC to provide the rest of her team as well to follow up. So these fights, if they happen, are going to be happening really, I don't want to say really, really slow, but they are going to be long, extended fights because there's just so much consistent damage on both sides, right? And like you said, Jinx with that high AoE damage, especially if we start to see like those early Zeri builds where like, I'm not sure if Jinx is still doing this, but there was a little bit of time where I saw like Jinx is building Runan's Hurricane and also TMA. And so I was like, okay, wow, all right, interesting. Yeah, but
it's a little funky.
Yeah, it's a little funky for sure. But with that, we are going to take just a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be on the Rift of game number 2 of SON Leviathan versus Clinical. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Zero Gravity Gaming. My name is Shinkari. I'm joined by Thousand Eyes, and now we are on the Rift of game number 2. SON Leviathan versus Clinical. Clinical once again on the red, SON on the blue. And now we have to see how this game is going to play out because this is match point. And now I'm ready. Thousand, are you ready?
I am ready. The teams are ready, and they are lined up. And they will be just waiting to get things underway. Aatrox going a little hard here, trying to make something happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good trade, and it's in Malikor's favor. But yeah, I mean that's all we can say about that.
I mean, to be fair, Ornn does have. I mean, okay, they both have Doran Shield, but they're both pretty beefy. Ultimately, I don't think gonna really turn into a whole lot here, but it is now just going to be pretty standard start. Looks like Viego actually going to go up towards that red buff start. So both junglers starting on the top side, pathing down towards bot lane, and I think this actually favors the side of SON because they are going to have that Graves for that counter gank, and that's really important, right? You look at the bot side, Xayah Thresh, great setup for this damage of the Viego, but if they overchase there, boom, Graves shows up, and that is going to be great. They don't want to be the ones going for the gank, however, with that Graves.
Yeah, Alistar, even though is flexible and whether he can be proactive or reactive when it comes to how he engages, still a lot better as a reactive champion here, in my opinion. So being able to be the counter engage and just wait, play boring, and then have Graves show up and be able to secure these kills is going to be very important for if this is what happens here. But Viego is taking a decently long time to get to this bot lane because he's going for a full clear. So I think Graves gets down there first.
Almost assuredly, yeah. Graves clears really effectively. And even against that Raptor camp, he's got the Q to be able to just clear things pretty well. But I think, honestly, it's just really a question of how things are going to turn. Interestingly enough here, we do have Jinx just shoving this wave. Actually, they do get the push a little bit here, which is a little surprising to me.
Yeah, usually Jinx doesn't like shooting off those rockets early in order to shove in those waves. Because once again, they want to farm, so I would assume that they would want to freeze just a little bit better, but I do actually like this adaptation here. Take a look at what Alistar and Jinx are doing right now. They're fighting Bad Leroy here, forcing his flash away. He's already used his smite. He might lose his blue buff here if this bottom lane does not come up to answer.
But look at mid.
Yeah,
look at mid too.
Yeah, Cassiopeia is coming up as well. This is going to be a very early fight. That's a good hook on a macro beast here. They're not able to grab the blue buff as now Nimu's in a whole lot of trouble. Flashes over the wall. This is not a good start for the Viego. Tried to go for the full clear, but since Graves was a much faster clear, they had the good AoE in the bottom lane. Real good tempo to grab themselves this early camps as now Graves continues to pressure them from far away and going to grab this Gromp as well.
And that all traces back to that early push there. Macro Beast gets that. I don't know if that was really the plan or if it just kind of came into existence just because of the state of the game. But they got that push on the bot side, which was the catalyst to create an opportunity to go and harass Viego at his blue buff, bring Graves around, and then with mid lane going the way it is, remember we said Kopek should have an opportunity to fight this Azir pretty well early on and shove the wave decently early on. Boom, there you go. You get 4 people over there. Viego doesn't get his blue buff and is now already falling behind.
Yeah, as now we take a look at the top lane here. Bad Leroy getting a little bit of revenge, getting a little bit more gold into his pocket. Ooh. Flash forward from the Ornn, and that's going to be the one picking up the kill in the top lane. Meanwhile, on the bottom, holy moly, Xayah nearly goes down to carry a macro beast down to the bottom lane. Forced to bat. Oh no, they're sticking around.
Yeah, they're holding on to their side there. They're just gonna see Nemu back away. So a good start there, at least a big turnaround to make sure that Viego stays in this game, that gets the assist for that kill. And specifically, Ornn getting that kill is actually pretty solid because now you can see already picked up that Bramble Vest and is just going to buy some time here for Ornn to keep getting in a spot where he can fight Aatrox.
Yeah, I mean, it really is just make yourself... I feel like whenever you play Ornn or Tahm Kench, it's really just make yourself just as beefy as possible, as quick as possible, so that your trades go in your favor just because the opponent is dealing damage but can't, like, deal with it, and you also have really good base damage.
Yeah. The biggest thing is that you are cutting healing already, and Aatrox really, you're cutting out a lot of the healing where it occurs, which is on that passive auto attack.
Right. As now with the game slowed down just a little bit, 6 minutes in, we're going to take stock of where we're at. 700 gold in the lead. The blue team already up with first blood being drawn by the red team, but it seems like they might be a little bit farther behind just because take a look at these CS differences. 42 is double the amount of CS that Ornn has. And this might be a little bit of an issue for Pharma here as well. Forced to flash away. Kaori is in the lane. They're just going to back away. Not going to be able to help get the kill this time.
And you can see not a lot of power just yet for this Ornn. Still kind of building that up, but that will come eventually. And think about what I think the biggest thing is just how much of a difference this makes compared to where Ornn would be without that extra Bramble Vest money.
Yeah. Shout outs to Bramble Vest money. Get you a jungler who gets you Bramble Vest money.
Exactly.
Yeah. As yeah, this is it's a lot slower than what we saw before, than what we already saw from that action down in that bottom lane there. It seems like this game once again still slowing down. If this game, normally I would like to say like if this game slows down a bit and we see this kind of extended laning phase, who's it going to benefit? But I feel like it benefits both teams. Is there one team that kind of benefits more from having this extended laning phase?
I feel like it does favor more on the side of SON because like you have Aatrox going 1v1, which is going great right now. Right now you also see Cassiopeia doing a great job as well, has not only the tier but the lost chapter. So you're just stacking that up, you're giving more opportunity to gain a lead, and boom, look at Malachor doing so much damage. Will gladly trade under tower just because it keeps Ornn at a lower health pool now. So you just see how this is, and it's just starting to get rougher and rougher the longer these laning phases go on. Yeah, bot lane's whatever, but you're fine still.
Yeah, Bad Leroy is taken pretty low here. Ornhorn's coming across here, but Spies is still pretty healthy. Does get that brittle. Let's see if they're going to be able to get in there, get the clap. That's a decent chunk of damage. You have a teleport coming in from Azir as well. Kopek is coming in from the bottom side as well, as we still have, we're going to direct a camera. Okay, well, I was going to complain at directed camera not going to where the action is, but everyone is kind of dissolved up in this top lane here. No one really wants to go on the offensive just quite yet. But there are still a lot of folks in this top half of the map.
Yeah, and once again, it's a question of why are you diving the Ornn? Unless it is like exceedingly easy to do. Unless he's at like 100 HP. I don't see a world in which you really get away with diving the Ornn. Looks like they're actually swapping this Pharma. Just going to stay up on this top side, and they're going to put Ruthenium into that mid lane, at least for the time being. Which is not what I expected. I don't think that is an ideal matchup for either of them.
Yeah, especially considering that, like, I think Pharma, just on the basis of ranged versus melee, will have a better time, but, like, Ornn did not itemize against his lane opponent now, right?
Yeah.
He has a Bramble Vest going into fighting a Cassiopeia, which I don't know if y'all know, Cassiopeia does not do a whole lot of physical damage, as we're seeing right now.
Yeah, it's a little funky. This is not the funk that I am about.
Yeah.
As it's gonna, I feel like this is just putting both team members in a rough spot, and I think they're starting to realize that. But bot lane, they're getting a gank.
Yeah, good flash play box as well. Macro Beast, but that's a really good pulverized headbutt combo here. They're still looking for the kill here. Macro Beast is at half HP here. They're still looking for something in return, but they might have bitten off a little bit more than they could chew. Flash forward, Heartbreaker. Bad Leroy picks up the kill. Good hook. Flay knocks him under the turret, tries to get the reset, but can't quite get it. Nemu still looking for a kill, but might have stayed just a little too long. Here comes Kopek here. Banana doesn't have anything left in the tank. Here comes a teleport in from Ornn from the top lane here, but that's a good ultimate, gonna keep Nemu down. And even though Ornn has shown up, it's way too late. Now on the top side of the map, Spies picks up the Rift Herald, and now it's not as good as they thought. As now Malachor looking for Pharma here, does pop that World Ender. Pharma does not have a whole lot of mana here, as now flashes onto the second half of the queue, and from downtown, Spies picks up the kill underneath the turret. They're able to find that execute gold. They're going to be able to find that turret, as they might be able to find this turret as well if they're quick. They have Shelly as well, so if they get this down to those last two plates, this might be a first turret up in the top lane.
Yeah, Spies pulling out the finger gun and just sniping them from a distance there, as Malachor puts in a lot of the work there to do that damage, and now here comes Ruthenium. They may have stayed a little too long.
Yeah, Ornhorn, oh, the double knock-up. Shut down onto the graves for the Viego here. Not able to chase down this Aatrox this time, so they'll find a decent chunk of gold for themselves and back away.
Yeah, so now it is going to be a nice chunk of gold, specifically going over to that Viego. And that's a great thing for the side of Clinical, who once again coming out of this with a pretty solid disadvantage in terms of just the CS numbers, right? Like you look at it as a 2,000 gold lead. There's only really that picked up from some plates as well as just CS. So it is, yeah, not a lot of kills. Kills are even, but you're losing a lot in the process. And last time that did come back to bite him in the late mid game.
Yeah, as now Malachor might have to force a might have to fight 1v2 here, does not have that World Baker available, but Bad Leroy is taken to below half HP here, does have the Heartbreaker as well, so they're going to secure the kill, but meanwhile in the bot lane, Graves is going to be picking up Drake.
So now, once again, we see the focus on that top side. It's helping that Ornn, it's getting Ornn back into this game, but once again, you're losing that Dragon. And this time it makes a little bit more sense that the Dragon comes out a little bit later because you have a bot lane that is less extreme on that bot side. So you don't have that level of presence that you had earlier. Now you're just kind of just holding off and waiting, and then get the time, get that Dragon, and now SON starting once again to get a little bit of a snowball going.
Oh, yeah, great headbutt Pulverize, followed up by the Chompers as well. They're going to root up just Kaori here, as that's going to be a good hook on the Macro Beast here. They're not in the range of the Flay. Oh, no. It was such a good combo that could have landed them something, but just outside the range of the Flay there.
Yeah, I mean, man, I feel like that actually could have gone even harder if Kaori had stood in front and blocked there, but now Spy's going for it. Another nice knock-up.
Yeah, it's just such an easy 1-2 combo here. Double kill for Macro Beast underneath the turret. Headbutt Pulverize, such an amazing engagement tool here. Utilized very, very well by Kaori. His first turret taken in the top lane. Might be able to get bot as well.
I mean, hey guys, Alistar's really good at tower diving. Zalt does a lot of work there and makes it really difficult to try and stay under there. Yeah, okay, Xayah already used, and that's just another notch in the belt as Spies just making stuff happen around the map.
Yeah, it's just really tough as we're going to see Bad Leroy come up into the top lane again. Malachor is going to heal a little bit off the Gore Drinker, try to use this World Breaker to try to get away. They're taking pretty low here, but Bad Leroy still looking for the fight. Super Mega Death Rocket coming across. Is it going to land? Looks like it was...
It killed Azir.
Oh, killed his... What? Oh, wrong team. It's on the wrong team. Azir did die, though. Azir's dead, and they're able to find 2 more kills. Malachor still lives. And, you know, we saw this lead. I feel like this lead happened a lot later in game number 1, but now we're seeing a lot more of a commanding lead from SON Leviathan here.
And it comes from the same thing, too. They just chase on to Malachor once again, and the damage just isn't there. They miss on that Ornn ultimate, and because of that, you see Malachor kite it out just a little bit longer and longer. Azir dies in the process, and that just means Kopek can walk up for free. And now SON have that control, and they have a little bit better scaling this time around too. I'm a little bit more confident than when I saw things start to get a little iffy later on. SON looking really solid right now.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, I shout outs to Bad Leroy trying to make as much happen across this map and make sure that he's able to get into the snowballing position for the Viego here. And you know, he's definitely not... I mean, it's hard to say that he's getting into that snowball position, even though he's trying really hard. But 71 CS to 128, this Graves is just so far ahead. Even if these kills were eliminated, right? 71 to 128 is such a huge difference in CS. That's nearly 10 waves of CS you've missed. Is now... Oh, no. Okay, Legendary Banana has missed... is maybe stepped a little bit too far forward. That's going to be the ultimate from... Alistar as well. Flash forward from Bad Leroy, looking for something here, but here comes Kopek and from the side, gonna ground them up. They're looking for a little bit more. Hooks them back underneath the turret. Real good job there. The charge is not going to land onto the Cassiopeia, but they are going to be able to secure the kill here as they're now looking for a little bit more. Headbutt Pulverize combo gonna land onto the stun here, but Kaori is still really low here. Nemo may have bitten off a little bit more than
where are we going?
Macro Beast immediately turns that around for themselves.
No!
Gets 2. Are they going to be able to get 3? They throw down the chompers to give themselves just a little bit of an escape here, but they can't keep auto-attacking. They have a Thorn Mail. You'll probably kill yourself faster than you can kill the Ornn. Horn comes across. R2 goes through. Shutdown. Flash. Clap. Double kill for Ruthenium. 3 for 3. Double kill for the Ornn. Holy moly.
Oh my goodness, what am I watching? That was, and then Malicor's just vibing. He's just up on the top side, just pushing, dashing away. Dude, you thought he wasn't paying attention. He is locked in right now. But yeah, that bot side fight just went so crazy, and I thought we were backing away from it. And then Nemu just goes forward with the Xayah ultimate, and I don't know entirely why. Ends up dying, and now Jinx reset really makes it difficult to just run away. You get one kill, boom, Nemu dying, ended up killing off Legendary Banana, and then eventually, you know, Ornn obviously was really beefy, and I think it took an awkwardly long amount of time to kill Legendary Banana there, so I don't know exactly what happened.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure either, so we're just gonna leave that one alone as we take a look at where we're at. 17 minutes into this game, nearly 18, 7,000 or 9,000 gold in the lead is SO and Leviathan, and you know they've got a lot of things up in their belt for that gold as well. As Bad Leroy caught out here, going to be pulled back in. They're standing on top of the lantern. He can't click. Oh, gets the click. Okay, pulls Kaori back in, but that Super Mega Deathrock is definitely going to scare them away for a little bit as Pharma throws out the Emperor's Divide, but Spies is just going to dash into the other end of it. Slows. Spies is still looking for the kill, though. Can they get the ultimate? There's the Q. There's the auto. They don't even need the ultimate to find the kill onto the King of Shurima. This time, your Empire has fallen thanks to our favorite gay cowboy.
Yeah, Graves just chasing him down. I'm just gonna...
Happy Gay Sloth Month, everybody.
Happy gay... That's a thing? What?
Well, no, I'm just calling it Gay Sloth Month.
Like, you said I just went with you because I trust you, but I realized halfway through that might have been a mistake, so I had to clarify.
So here it is. June is Gay Pride Month, and then July is Gay Wrath Month. And after having Pride and Wrath one after another, obviously you want to take a break. And you go to Gay Sloth Month. Okay.
I feel like it's too far away from the whole, like, we've moved so far from Pride that people are not thinking about it in that context anymore.
Yeah, of course.
Which makes it very awkward when you're just like, I thought you meant a literal gay sloth, and I was like, okay. Good.
There's
for
probably
the
a
sloth?
VTuber out there. There is probably
there
one.
will be one now.
Yeah, there will be one now. Hey, if you need a VTuber idea out there for your new VTuber, Gay Sloth, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Normally you have to pay people for these types of character design ideas, but you know, I'm just giving it to you for free. You're welcome.
Oh my goodness. Okay, anyway.
There's a video game happening, by the way.
There's a video game around this area.
Yeah.
And then we see Legendary
Somewhere in
Banana
this vicinity.
warding, gotta get that cleared, and now we are gonna see if Kaori can just get that Hex Flash over the wall. Malachor might be getting caught out a little bit here. There's a lot of people coming his way.
Oh yeah, they're committing to it too. There's the R2. The hook doesn't land, so Malachor might be a little bit better here. There's a good play away for Kaori here, but Malachor is healing up so much after that Q3 and the Board Breaker as well. Ornn is able to find 1-for-1 here, but Macro Beast, okay, gonna get snared up by Xayah, but goes down to Cassiopeia instead. It's a 2-for-1 so far. The red team is a little caught out here. Kopek might be able to find Pharma. Bad Leroy coming in from the side, but does not have another thing to take out this team, or to get a reset here. As take a look at the bottom lane, Spy still going. Kaori here, you might have used the Hex Flash a little too soon as Rune, oh man.
Not letting him go back.
A little too long. Look at what Graves is doing. Graves is just ending the game.
The Kaori is just not
ending the game. They can't back. And so the blue team is just going to keep them right here as KO and Kopek is going to be able to find the next kill. And Macro Beast Are they gonna 1v2? They can't touch him. The flash is too good. They're still going.
My God.
They have to get excited. They need to get excited in order to finish off this kill here. Nemo
That's
has
one.
respawned. There's the reset. Okay, let's see it. They're getting onto legendary banana. There's two. There's three. They're able to find a double kill underneath the turret. There's the ace as well. You don't need Baron. You don't need super minions. You don't even need a cannon wave. All you need is one dude with a shotgun and one big crab, and then a crazy girl with a rocket launcher to follow up.
That was wild how long that kept going. And I mean, major props to Kaori too for just keeping presence in the face of the Viego and the I don't even remember who else it was.
Yeah,
the Warren. Yeah, just keeping them
Bad
from...
Leroy. Bad Leroy's dead.
He's... Bad Leroy.
Bad Leroy. At least he has chicken, right? At least he's got chicken. As now, we're gonna... I think this might just be the end of the game.
Macro Beast in
just,
trouble.
Yeah, okay, okay, then, well, that's just... Rutenium bringing back an old classic here is they're going to pull in the hook and line and sinker onto the Cassiopeia, but she's not going to go down without a fight before taking 2 more kills as Aatrox and Kaori are just like, guys, what are you doing? I mean, we can end this a little bit more cleanly if you just, you know, like, you know, we just took these inhibitors, I guess.
I'm punching structures.
That's what Kaori's saying. Look at me. I'm dealing structure damage.
Jinx and Cassiopeia are out just like having a rager out in the middle of the Nexus there, and then it's just like a man with a sword and a giant cow slamming into
you know what it is?
Structure.
You know what it is? It's the meme of like, they don't know that I'm out here taking inhibitor. That's what it is. It's just Jinx and Cassiopeia dancing around the Nexus, and they're standing over people's dead body, and then it's just Alistar and Alistar just hitting the, just being like, they don't know that I'm hitting the inhibitor.
Yeah, it's now getting a little bit rough here, as I think SON are most likely going to be locking in this game in just another couple of minutes or so. But I mean, they made it fun. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
Nothing else to add, Shinkari?
No, nothing else to add.
All right,
Nope.
fair enough.
I mean, look, this game has devolved. They're 15,000 gold in the lead. All the inhibitors are down. The Nexus is exposed. They were just They were just clowning around in the around Nexus turrets. Like, let's see what this fight goes in. Kopek is already taken pretty low here, but Macro Beast is yet to be touched in this team fight here. Take a look at the backside of this team fight here. Guts 1, gets 2. Kopek might have gone down, but Macro Beast is the beast you need to kill in order to take down this team. And that's going to be the ace one more time. Macro Beast MVP game 2 as they're able to take game number 2 victory over oh my god, clinical. As I just
you need a clinic right now.
Fart. Yeah, I need a clinic. I need a clinic.
Shinkari lost, confused. We will get him the help that he needs.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, okay, SON Leviathan, I think looked better this game. I think they had a much stronger they played to their lead better. When they got a lead, they didn't kind of hold on to it. They played just that early presence there around the blue buff. I think really encapsulates what this game really was. There was a lot more team play. There was a lot more just like recognizing what their strengths at that exact point in the game were and playing towards them. Macro Beast strong, play around Macro Beast. Malachor getting chased down. Cool, kite it out. We will catch up to you and we will help you out. It was a lot of communication and a lot of just kind of, unfortunately, some misplays from Clinical that ended up with people getting away, people being able to kite back to their team, and deaths being lost in the process.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this was definitely, you know, we discussed after I said the word clean from the previous game. You know, you said, I don't know if that game was as clean. You know, I think this game was definitely. I'm gonna revise my current statement and just say that this one was clean, right? Like they
Yeah.
got the lead early. They were able to be like, okay, we're strong. Let's start beating the crap out of them. Like they didn't pussyfoot around. They didn't beat around the bush. They just went right for it. They recognized their strengths and they went for it and cleaned out the game. Did they kind of troll around a little bit at the end? Yes. Yes, they did. Holy
And you know
moly.
what? Live your life.
Did they get away with it? Absolutely. Um but yeah, I mean, if anything to take away from this, it's like, hey, against Clinical, you can do this kind of stuff. Not to say that Clinical is bad, right? I don't want to flame them too hard. They did play some really good League of Legends here. They played from behind actually really well. But if
Yeah.
you're going up against what I'm more of trying to say is that if you're going up against the top teams, if you're going up against Elysium, you can't do the same things that you did here, right? That's not
Yeah.
going to be the same game. You can't play this way against some of the better teams in the league, right?
Yeah.
So,
I think
yeah.
one of the biggest things here was just like Clinical's game one was good. And it
Yeah,
was
for
good
sure.
until it wasn't. And which, yes, okay, that sounds
To
troll,
quote
but like,
Stara.
yeah, we were winning until we lost.
Yeah.
Uh,
Up until they
until
lose
they
the game, they're
lost.
winning.
Yeah. But like, genuinely, it was solid, right? Like they were going toe to toe. They were keeping up. Yeah, they were losing out on farm. It was really just they had one bad moment in that mid to late game that caught them out, cost them a lot of time and gold, and things snowballed out of control there. If that goes in a different direction, if they do not lose that quick fight there, they end up in a much better position to turn things around and maybe end up winning that game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I have to still applaud Clinical, right? If we are going to talk about Clinical and we are going to talk about how both these teams performed, I still say that Clinical played this game actually still pretty well, right? They still talking about like, oh, hey, let's recognize our strengths and let's capitalize on them. Bad Leroy was constantly coming up into the top lane because he was like, hey, Ornn is the easiest lane for me to gank, and I'm constantly being successful. If I want to catch up to the Graves by the end of the game, this is the best way. This is the best path for me to do that. And we even saw like that was how he got closer and closer. Now granted, the other problem was that Viego was just not able to farm his own jungle for a decent point of the game, but
Mm-hmm.
still they recognized where their strengths were in the lanes and where they were strong even in team fights. I still think they did pretty well. Now, was it enough? No, but it's still a positive note if you are Clinical here, that there are still some shining moments that you can be like, hey, look at this, hey, look at that you can then improve on later.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
honestly they've got opportunities. I think they recognized their composition last time was fine. They just made
Mhm.
mistakes. I think you look back at the replay on this and you figure out where did we really mess up? Where did things go wrong? And how do we improve on that?
Yeah, for sure. But with that, that is going to do it from us here. Thank you all so much for tuning in to tonight's match of Zero Grav here at Zero Gravity Gaming. From myself, the entire live broadcast crew, Thousand Eyes, my co-caster, and MXL, our producer for this evening. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, press that follow button. We have League of Legends action for you to watch nearly every single day. And if you're feeling generous, press that subscribe button. It's going to help us keep the lights on here at Zero Gravity Gaming. And speaking of helping keep the lights on, if you haven't already noticed, we have a sponsor for this season, and it is, if I can remember really quickly, ProComps. Thank you so much. ProComps is a first of its kind drafting tool. You know what I want to say? I want to say Champ Comps. I want to say Pro Guides. It's like literally, I feel like it's the same word over and over again, just recycled. ProComps is a first of its kind drafting tool aimed for competitive and solo queue play. ProComps allows the user live feedback and analysis on drafting, giving them recommendations on picks, notes on matchups, and analysis on the enemy team's win conditions. These features allow the user to gain an edge on their opponent and improve their drafting skills. Use code ZGG for 50% off your first 3 months of ProComps. And we even used it a little bit here for our cast to help guide our storylines for this for our casts here. It is a really cool tool. Go check it out. ProComps. Thank you so much for being the sponsor for this season. But from everyone here at Zero Gravity Gaming, thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you at the next match. Bye bye.